You got to give the Raptors a ton of credit for what they just did. What is going on, everyone? It is Luca here, back with another Raptors post-game video. Hope you're all doing well. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. The Toronto Raptors, they had no business being in this game. They were underdogs by 16 points. They were severely shorthanded, missing 4 of 5 starters. The Raptors were missing a bunch of players in this game, as Gary Trent Jr. out, Chris Boucher out, Emmanuel quickly out. Obviously, no Barnes, no Jakob Poeltl. So this was going to be a true tough task for the Raptors, for as shorthanded as they were, going into Denver, playing in that altitude and taking on a healthy defending champions. And boy, oh boy, did the Raptors ever come out and they punched the champions in the mouth. This was a game, folks. The Raptors, just as we all predicted, were up by 17 at halftime following a 34-19 second quarter onslaught. The Raptors, they were cooking in this one. I mean, they were playing tremendous defense. They were hitting their shots, getting in the paint, and they led by as many as 22 points. It really looked like we were headed for the biggest upset of this NBA season. But then the Denver Nuggets, they were done to win around. They turned it up a notch. Second half, they absolutely brought the heat, outscoring the Raptors in both quarters, 42-30 in that third, and then 32-21 in the fourth. But look, even though the Nuggets made their run and they came back, the Raptors were still pushing within 5, trying to steal one here on the road. Again, a game they had no business winning. RJ Barrett continuing to be aggressive, getting to the rack. He was huge in this game. And RJ Barrett, him scoring 20 points has become an absolute staple. It is routine at this point, as Barrett notched his 18th game as a Raptor with 20 or more points. He was great in this one. The lone starter in this lineup of the original starters, 26 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, 10 of 20 from the field, and had the Raptors with a chance there at the end to pull off the improbable. As you look at the rest of the Raptors starters in this one, Bruce Brown Jr., he came back from his knee injury, and he had 13 points against his former team. How about Kelly Olynyk? Had his best game as a Raptor, 24.6 rebounds, 9 of 13, 2 of 4 from 3. And he had his toughest matchup going up against the Joker, who had just an unbelievable stat line of 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 12 assists. Abaji got the start. And then Grady Dick. Grady Dick continues to grow with confidence, guys. He had a couple threes, very efficient game. He had a beautiful sequence coming off the screen, hitting a shot. He just looks so fluid with his off-ball movement, getting to the ball, shooting it with such precision. I mean, Grady Dick looks entirely different from the guy who started the season with the Raptors. 17 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and really making a big case for why he could very well be the permanent starter for this Raptors team, because I think Grady can start, especially if he continues to develop the way that he has. And obviously, the Raptors have a decision to be made with Gary Trent Jr.'s unrestricted free agency coming up. I think Grady Dick can fill in that role. I mean, he continues to show you a little bit something more each and every outing. And, Grady's going to have opportunities, you would think, even more to start, especially if guys are out. Got the start in this one, 36 minutes, had one of his best games, all-around game with the 7 assists, showing that great ball movement, his great passing ability, and the rebounds as well. So I was very impressed from Grady, RJ, Kelly, and then Jonte Porter sharing the floor with his brother, Michael Porter Jr. If you did not know, these two are brothers. He had a nice game from off the bench, 14 points. Obviously, the Raptors thin at their, with their front core, no Barnes, no Poeltl. So Jonte had some nice minutes, and then McDaniels had 12. The Raptors, the second half, they obviously didn't play well enough to win. I thought Darko did do a good job of kind of weathering the storms, but this is the Denver Nuggets. These guys are the defending champions. You knew that for as long as they were down, in all likelihood, it wasn't going to stay like that. They made their run, they made their push, and the Raptors, this was going to be extremely tough for them to actually win. But the fact that the Raptors fight hard again, you look at it like this, guys. I mean, their third straight game, wrapping up this road trip where they put up another competitive effort. They were competitive against the Suns, who they had no business being competitive against. They came back against the Blazers, made that a game, bringing it to overtime. And then they made it competitive against a Nuggets team they had no business making it competitive against. So even though they lose these games, they play hard. A lot of good things were shown, and they still get the loss. That's a win-win. You guys know how I feel about Team Tang. The Raptors clearly need to keep that pick. That is the best move on the chessboard for this season. They almost spoiled it by beating the Nuggets here, but if the Raptors can kind of have these moral victories, if you will, to build on, and they can try to get that pick when it's all said and done, like that is a perfect way to end the season with just 17 games left. So the Toronto Raptors, again, given the circumstances, being shorthanded, they gave the defending champs a run here. They went toe-to-toe with them. The Denver Nuggets, they caught, they were caught here lacking because you could tell this team was playing with their food, didn't take the Raptors seriously for as much of a mismatch this was on paper, and the Raptors brought it to them. They were hitting shots early, being aggressive. Their defense did a good job, particularly in that first half, in that second quarter, especially just neutralizing the Nuggets, and they kept this team contained. And that is very tough to do because the Denver Nuggets have lost only once since the All-Star break. So, yeah, this was a lot of the Nuggets taking the Raptors lightly, but also got to give the Raptors a ton of credit. They still had guys who went out there and performed, and RJ being the lone starter, coming off an illness, again, showing you why he is just in an ideal situation for his career with this Raptors team, a place where he's able to be more than just a corner three guy, a place where he can be aggressive, have the ability to get downhill, find his offense, be one of the go-to guys. And in a game like this, he was the Raptors' go-to guy. He was their number one option. So RJ, quickly, Barnes, when you look at those three in particular, just think they're going to have an entire offseason together. So you can see why this Raptors team, I think, are not going to be down for long. And every bit of reason for them to get the pick this year even more is the fact that this team is just, a few more tweaks away, I feel, from being back in a position where, they can be competitive. If they're competitive now, just wait until these guys come back, healthy with some pieces intact. You might not need that 2025 first-round pick is what I'm getting at if things continue to progress as well as they have, because this has been a different team post-All-Star break. It's evident, 3-game winning streak, first of the season, guys go down, and then, aside from that New Orleans Pelicans game in which they got blown out, the Raptors have been competitive even with some significant pieces out. So that just tells you how guys are coming together. Darko's coaching well. We got to give him credit. Darko's really got these guys playing hard despite this being, in essence, a lost season. So that means something. So let me know your thoughts, guys, on this game. The Raptors, they lose once again. This is their fourth straight loss. They conclude the road trip. And the Raptors, they're going to be favorite next game in all likelihood against the Pistons. But the Pistons have been playing better as of late. So that should be an interesting one in Detroit as, the Raptors conclude their road trip in the game against Detroit. I thought it was a 3-game road trip. It's actually a 4-game road trip. And then they'll be back home on Friday against the Magic. So that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit a like, subscribe. I will catch you all again in the next video.